All right, ET207 students, first off, congratulations. You've made it through the first week here. Looks like everybody or near everybody has turned in the homework 1 here. I am going to give you a little bit of a supplemental video here on homework or assignment 1.5. I've got them called homeworks and assignments. It's really all analogous, same type of content. Honestly, the assignment you finished is a little more difficult than the one you're going to get assigned here, but with a little bit of extra information, I think this project should become pretty straightforward. Doing a sketch and making sure that you are taking into consideration geometric constraints and applying those constraints is a really important feature. And know that the drawings that I've asked you to do here so far are quite frankly more difficult than any of the other drawings or sketches you're going to need to do. In fact, I encourage you to do a smaller sketch, an easier sketch, and extrude that into a parametric model, then do another small sketch and extrude it, cut it, what have you, in baby steps, sketches instead of big complex sketches with a lot of geometric instruction. But I also encourage you to use the labs on campus. 3-button mouse in there, good server, all the rest. And I also encourage you to look to resources online. I am knowledgeable with software, but there's other professionals out there that are doing really good content, videos and so forth. If you type in, geometric construction in SolidWorks or sketching inside of SolidWorks, tips and tricks, what have you, lots of really good resources out there. So with that said, if you take a look at this screen here, what every one of you are going to be opening up, part drawing assembly. We're going to be spending most of our time in parts and assemblies. I'm going to double click, create a new part, and one of the first things I want to do is make sure my units are correct. I do that down here in the corner. In this case, I'm just going to leave it in inches one more time, and then get really good at using your escape key to get out of commands, get really good at using your right click key and your scrolling key, your middle key to push it down to pan around, and then to scroll it up and down to zoom in and out. You have 3 primary planes to pick from over here on your feature manager. I'm just going to pick the front. I'm going to lay that front flat, and I'm simply just going to create a few pieces of geometry out here with a couple of extra tips and tricks for you that I think will make your assignments much easier. So I'm going to go into Sketch here, and I'm going to create a line. And once I come over here, you can see that my screen gives me feedback and data almost immediately. And one thing that I'm going to tell you about is this. I'm going to create a vertical line. I'm going to hit the escape key. I'm going to right click on that line, and I'm going to change it right here to construction geometry. So that line, I always joke, is a free line. In other words, it's extra. You can put it out there. You can use it to reference other things, but it's not necessarily part of your actual sketch. I could also go in to create line under the down arrow and pick center line, which is also construction line, and I could just pop in a construction line, hit escape. That one is blue because it doesn't have a locked-in distance on one of the X, Y, or Z planes, but I could quickly give it a fully defined situation by adding a dimension. So it's a combination of dimensions and geometric relationships that end up making things fully defined. I'd also encourage you to go in and create geometry at times that is not locked initially. In other words, pop it in blue, move it around, add dimensions or add geometric relationships to it until it becomes fully defined. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a circle on the end of this line, a circle on the end of this line, a circle at the origin, and then create a couple of lines that are tangent to those things, and you'll get a gist of creating geometric relationships and creating dimensions. The combination of both of those things turn a part from blue, which is underdefined, to black, which is fully defined where you want it, and potentially red overdefined, which is what you don't want. So I'm going to go now to the circle tool, and I'm going to create a circle at the origin. I'm going to create a circle at this endpoint, and I'm going to create one out in the middle of nowhere. Okay, so first and foremost, all of them are still undefined. This one that lies on the origin is the one that's easiest to define because all it needs is a size dimension. Its location is already locked by X and Y being at the origin. So I can pop a dimension in here, whatever that dimension is. Let's make it 2. Let's make it 1. Whatever that dimension is, that circle becomes fully defined. If I do the same thing and smart dimension this circle, and accept that, it's still blue. Huh. Why is that still blue? It's sitting on that line. That line's fully defined. If you don't know the answer, wiggle it and jiggle it. I've always coined this too. Like inside of geometry, inside of assemblies, every time you add a maiden assembly, wiggle and jiggle, move it around. Okay, what is the isolation now, and what's the flexibility? What do things look like? So if I grab this center point, I can tell you that it's not really defined. It's locked on the origin. If I'm going left and right with my mouse, it's locked horizontally but not vertically. So even though the line is black and it has a known distance, it doesn't have a dimension that's locking that distance. So if I hit escape here and I go to smart dimension and I go from that endpoint to this origin and I say I want that to be 2 inches. Now we're fully defined. Now what else do I need to do? I need to lock this circle down, and let's do that with a relationship. So I'm going to go down under this pull down menu. I'm going to go to add relationship, and I'm going to pick on the entities that I want to create a relationship with. I'm going to pick on the center of the circle and the end of that line. I'm going to make those coincident. It snaps over there. Gosh darn, it is still blue. I'm going to accept the relationship. I'm going to add a smart dimension on there. Oh my gosh, it's still blue. I need a distance of this line. So I'm going to smart dimension a distance. Smart dimension, escape key, a distance in there. Don't care what it is, but now that it's there, now we have 3 pieces of geometry that are fully defined. I also encourage you, how much like a coordinate system, or like you're out there surveying, you're a surveyor, civil engineer, and you know, until you got these known points, I wouldn't encourage you to doing too much more surveying, you know, until you get to a point where, okay, now I got 3 pieces of geometry that are fully defined. I can start to add more geometry and define it based on these fully defined items, right? If these circles are all blue, don't draw a bunch of lines tangent to a bunch of blue stuff, or you're going to have a whole bunch of stuff that's underdefined. And I'd also encourage you to always go back to what is the best place to lock things down, which is the origin, or maybe that first circle that's right next to the tied into the origin. All right, so I'm going to just go in here. I'm going to create a couple of lines, and I'm going to keep this pretty straightforward here. And then I'm going to let you guys go and use this and look it over 5 times so you know exactly what you're doing. Those lines, completely blue, I purposefully made sure they weren't attached to anything. I'd encourage you not to go in and go like this and try to create tangencies by clicking and whatever. You just oftentimes don't get what you want, okay? So if I'm going to go in here now and create a tangency, now I can see and watch it become tangent. I'm going to go in, go to add relationship. I have nothing picked because I hit the escape key earlier. I'm going to pick on this arc, that line. I'm going to make it tangent. I'm going to accept it. I'm going to wiggle and jiggle and see what happens to this line now that it is, okay, it's definitely tangent. If I move it around, but wiggle and jiggle, learn a little bit about what you just did, okay? I'm going to leave this thing sit. I'm going to go back in, hit the escape key. I'm going to go back into add relationship. I'm going to make sure that point is deleted, so I got nothing picked here as far as entities selected. I'm going to pick this arc. I'm going to pick this line. I'm going to make that tangent. Voila. And I can go on and on and on, but I would encourage you to watch, add the relationships, watch them happen, Make sure by wiggling and jiggling that that's the geometric relationship you want, and go from there. And then lastly, I want to hit trimming one more time. There it is. I'm going to pick trim entities. I always pick the bottom one, which is trim the closest. So all I got to do now is go in and zoom in here and pick on the part of that geometry I want to get rid of. Right there and right there. Now I can't do anything here yet because I need a couple more tangencies in there, but I'll just add one real quick. Here, here, tangent. Okay, accept that one. Add relation. Here, here, tangent. Sorry, Control Z, edit undo. I must have hit something wrong. Add relationship. I think I picked that dimension instead. Here it is. Here it is. Tangent. There we go. Accept that one. Go back under the trim command. Trim, 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 and trim. Now we're getting what we want, right? So that could end up turning into that part that you guys were already asked to draw. Hopefully this helps. Again, make sure that you are locking things down very concrete sequentially, one thing at a time. Underdefined, okay, now it's fully defined. Go in, create the relationships you want, leave stuff out there undefined, and force the definition with either dimensions or geometric relationships. I hope this helps. Keep up the good work. Stay on task as assignments are put out there for you with deadlines. Stay on task with those things. Know that our goal here is for you to understand how to create good sketches, which then create good extrudes, good parametric models. Those models will be important because they'll end up coming into an assembly. And understand that a big part of this course is that project at the end. You know, you'll do these assignments. You'll be asked to try the CSWA exam for a midterm. You'll ask to be able to do that for a final exam, the second part of the CSWA. But the project itself, it's most of the points are in that project, and you have to know how to create some parts. 8 or 10, 15 different parts that you create, draw up, they go into an assembly and become something. Make sure that's something you're passionate about, something you're excited about. Start thinking about it already. Start working towards that already. Even they don't need to be hard parts. They need to be just, you know, good quality three-dimensional content that ends up being 12 to 15 different parts that are into an assembly, and you'll be in really good shape. You can email me. You can reach me on campus in Green Bay. I'm available whenever you need me. Have a good weekend.